Okay, this is the video to show the setup for the Candy Snatcher Breakout EDU session. I did this for my grandson's 10th birthday, and he had 12 of his friends, all 10-year-old boys, 12 of them, that participated in this Breakout EDU session. So here was the sign that was on the door when they got here, the Candy Snatcher. And the problem that I presented to the boys was that they had some goodie bags at their house that all of a sudden disappeared. It was a spend the night, and so the boys got up on Saturday morning and discovered that their goodie bags with all their candy in them had been taken. And they found in its place this newspaper article. The newspaper article says the Candy Snatcher in Hammond. Incredible as it may seem, Jax Peterman's birthday party was hit last night by the infamous Candy Snatcher. And it goes on to say what had happened, and that the Candy Snatcher had taken all their candy and locked it up in the Breakout EDU box. So the boys read that, and then when they got to the room where we were going to do the breakout session, we went over a PowerPoint that gave them the rules, and one of the clues was a QR code, and I wasn't sure that all of the boys knew about QR codes, so I just talked to them about what a QR code was, showed them this sample, and explained to them how they would be able to get the information from that QR code. Also had on the table 2 hint cards for each box. I used 2 boxes, and we had 2 teams of 6 boys each. So here's the hint cards that the boys could use. Around the room I had different clues posted. The first one was a picture of the birthday boy and a picture of him as when he was born, the day he was born, and then his vital statistics, date of birth, time of birth, you know, his full name and that. And that was a clue to the birthday lock. Now I had May 24th, 2006 highlighted with the invisible ink marker, and when they found the invisible ink marker and the blue light flashlight, they could use it on this, or if they just saw this and realized that they needed a date for the date lock, then they could just use it without getting the clue from invisible ink and the flashlight. So this was just posted around the room in visible sight. They had another poster that was posted around the room in visible sight, and it said the key to success is teamwork. Now what I did was I made a little pocket, and the kids couldn't see. Right now I have a little piece sticking out. The kids couldn't see that there was a string, and inside the pocket was a key. And that's the key that they're going to need for the key lock on the Breakout EDU box. But they had to discover that that was a pocket, and inside the pocket was a key. So that was just posted invisible somewhere around the room. Then also around the room, I had hidden fairly well this brown envelope that said confidential, top secret. And inside that envelope was this clue that says this rebus tells you which lock you're finding the code for. 4 number clock minus the C would be 4 number lock. And then what they had to do was they had to use this master for the cipher of a lock font. Has all the alphabet capitals, the lowercase, and then the numerals. This was laying out on the front table in the classroom. Down inside of the envelope on this page, they had to use that reference sheet to figure out the lock font sheet to figure out what the 4 numbers are and then write them down on the lines below. And you could see the boys figured out it was 6, 7, 8, 9. And then they used that on the 4-digit vertical number lock that we bought to go along with our Breakout EDU boxes. I wanted to show you too that I divided the boys into 2 teams. And I wanted them to be a smaller number so that everybody would have a lot of experience, hands-on experience. So we had, because it was a Candy Snatcher game, we had the yellow M&M team and the orange M&M team. And I had little pocket badge holders. But in the back of the pocket was this locksmith card. Now the locksmith card, I tried for the first time because I wanted to make sure that each one of the boys had a chance to actually put their hands on a lock. So in the setup, when I talked to the boys before the game started, that if you had a locksmith card, you could actually be the one that unlocked the lock. Didn't mean you couldn't have help, have a friend with you, giving you some advice, but nobody else was to touch the lock except you. And you had to give up your locksmith card after you unlocked your lock, or before you unlocked your lock. If you didn't have a locksmith card, you were not to touch the locks again. And it really worked well because the boys, every boy got a chance to unlock one of the locks. And it made it very sort of fair and equitable for all of them. Around the room, I also had hidden this really cool New English dictionary. And it looks like a book. And you could see, let me hold it up. You can see I had it sitting on a table in the room, and the boys really overlooked it as they were looking for clues. They had to use a hint card, and one of the hints was, you have not found one of your important clues. They started looking again, and then they realized, okay, this must be something good. So when they found that it was not just a regular dictionary, they opened up and they realized they needed a key to get inside the dictionary. Now, one of the keys was in the sign you saw earlier. The other key, the key to the dictionary, was hidden inside of this hide a key rock. And in the bottom of it, it has a little hole that you can open up and hide a key in it. Now, I've already unlocked this, but when the boys unlocked it, inside of the dictionary, they found this clue. And this clue says, use this QR code to help you find the clue to the word lock. So they used the iPads that were on the table, and they used Enigma, which is a QR code reader, and this QR code took them to a brain pop video on nutrition and sugar. And I thought that was pretty good since they were eating so much candy. They needed to know the benefits and the detriment to using sugar or eating so much sugar. So they did, they watched the video, and as they watched the video from the QR code, they realized, well, okay, sugar probably is the word that I need for the word lock. And it was, and they did a great job with that one. Back in the back of the room, I had hidden very, very well. In fact, this is the last one they found. And so they were sort of held up because they needed that black light and that black light flashlight to get some of the other clues. But I had the lock box, the 3-digit lock box. And the boys had to, once they found it, they used the black light flashlight. And you see I put a hint card in there that says light up the text to give them an idea of what they would be doing. And like I told you earlier, on the birth date sign, I did have that highlighted with invisible ink that the boys could find the birth date that way. But the one they really needed it for was this clue. And this envelope was hidden very well in the room. This is the birthday boy's name and his address with some information. Now, I really think this was a great idea because this one clue held, or this one fun thing held about possibly 4 or 5 clues. If you can see in the envelope, you got a 5-digit number, you've got with the address, you've also got a 5-digit number with the area code, and a 4-digit number up with the Candy Snatcher's address and another area code, and that's just on the outside of the envelope. Now I'd highlighted with the invisible ink 18109, which was the street number of the birthday boy, and that's with invisible ink. So the boys used the black light flashlight and discovered that that was going to be one of the clues. Now inside the envelope was another clue, and it was a letter from the Candy Snatcher apologizing for taking all the candy. And he was going to bring it back, but he had already eaten what he didn't hide in the breakout box, so he gave the boys some money to pay for what he ate. And that clue, that money should help them in searching for getting the candy back. And inside that was some fake money that I had run off, and the boys had to actually count that money to find the 3-digit code to open this box. Out of all the different clues, this was the hardest one. 10-year-olds evidently don't count a lot of cash like this. They had to try 4 or 5 times to actually get the right amount for the 3-digit lock on the lock box. But it was, I think, $579 or something like that they had to come up with. And that did, in turn, open the 5-digit, or the address, rather, opened up the 5-digit lock. The money opened up the lockbox 3-digit. So there was a lot of clues involved in this one envelope and the money in the letter. Also laying out on the table, I always have, turn this around, some scratch paper for the boys or for the participants, so with pencils in case they need to take notes on anything. Here's the game plan that we always build with a list of the printables and a list of the locks and stuff like that. And then of course we had the Breakout EDU box. All the locks are all down on the table with the clues, so they're not showing right now on the Breakout EDU box. But of course it was locked up with the hasp, and it had 5 locks on the hasp, and with the lock for the dictionary and the lock for the 3-digit box, that gave 7 locks for each team. That meant every boy got to unlock at least 1 lock, and it worked really, really well. They had a great time. They broke out, I think, with 12 minutes left or something like that. And all of the pieces and parts with the introductory video and all the printables you can find all zipped up and together under Candy Crush. All right, that's it. Thanks.